Hey, today we're gonna be painting some shit. That's it, really. We're gonna be painting some shit today. The holiday season, if you are a creative person, can be sort of stressful. Because like people want creative gifts if they know that like I don't know. Here's what we're working on today. So, oh my God. I did some off-camera stuff. I haven't done the bottom yet, but I started this. This is going to one of my friend's daughters, one of my little nieces. So, and it depends on how quick we be doing shit. Cause I also have to, I painted a base layer for another one of my paintings that I do for people when they let me invade their house. So I might show you how to do that too. If you wanted to create your own creative gift for a family member or something, but you don't exactly know how to paint, maybe you could watch me. I had thought about doing like a tutorial, like watching a Bob Ross video. And then, I don't know, doing it. But I suck at following directions. I get bored and like don't pay attention for real. So we're just gonna do it like this. So, okay. Okay, but with the remaining pink that I have here, I'm gonna make it the vase color for my paintings that I do for gifts. I'm gonna I always do like a little bit of a curve and I want it to seem like it's a big vase. So I just have it like cut off. And then I just dip a little bit and go across. But you want to come back up, right? And then you want to try to match that shape again. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's gonna be like, my vase ain't a real vase. They're gonna be like, look at the pretty painting that I got, you know? So from there, just gonna paint the rest of that in. And then I am gonna smooth that out a little bit though. And then, there we go. And then I'm gonna put polka dots over the top of this eventually. So you don't have to worry about the base coat being super like, I don't know, even. Obviously you want it to look all one color sort of, but it doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of my painting style relies a lot on layers. And because of that, I don't have to be too precise with anything, you know? So now I have a vase. We'll wait for that to dry. Actually, I think I might do one more coat because I have the paint for it, so I might as well, you know? I guess I could add a little bit more pink and then I could start doing flowers then too. Because that's sort of how I always do my paintings. I try to use up paint before I add more, you know, obviously. So I'm gonna add some pink in here. And then I'm just gonna start by making messy, like, I don't know. Now we have our first flower. And now we need to add more colors. Our painting is looking real warm, so I want to add some blue. I think a blue flower would be good. Oh, actually, I've been in love with this blue. I'm gonna be so sad when I'm out of it. Let's do a red. I always like including at least one rose. yellow. And then I'm gonna bring a purple in too. And then I'm gonna add I'm gonna add sky blue too to my palette here. I haven't used this color yet, so I'll go in. I just cut my nails this morning, so I'm going through it. Add a little bit of that to the canvas, or to the, whatever that thing is, palette. So now, if I know that I'm gonna do more than one blue flower, I really try to start with like a light blue, because I wanna make them darker as I go so I can add. So how I've learned, I don't know who I learned this from, but like the way that somebody taught me how to paint is you wanna do your light, you wanna do it like lightest layers to darkest layers. I don't necessarily do that perfectly. Like I don't start with like just my whites and then like keep things blank and shit. Like I know that some people do that. I'm not that talented. I do it for funsies, you know? But I do try to adhere to it when I do this. So I'm gonna just, to start, I'm gonna go like this, and maybe go like that, and maybe go like this, and then pretty. Once I have like a general shape that I like, then I try to make it a little bit more pigmented. Like I said, we're gonna be doing layers, and so while the base layer is important, like it's all just sort of, I'm feeling yellow now. Usually I would add, but let's do yellow. That's what the creative process is telling me right now. I try to include like a sunflower or a, what's that shit called? That Western Michigan's colors are based off of, Brown-Eyed Susan or whatever. I don't actually know if that's the name of the flower. And I do like when my other colors sort of bleed into my like my other flowers. So like if that pink were to bleed into that petal, I would love that. The blue did just like a little bit. And I was like, sick. I don't like that. I don't like that one. That's okay. Oh my God. Oh my God, I fumbled. I fumbled at the end. That's okay. Okay, what next? It's supposed to be fun. The creative process is supposed to be fun. Remember that while you're doing it. So don't stress yourself out being like, it's not perfect. Are you fucking kidding me? You are painting something for somebody that you love. Of course it's perfect, goofy bitch. Don't piss me off. Art is about doing it. Art is about the relationship between the artwork itself and the person who's receiving the art, whether it be you just looking at it, whether it be receiving it as a gift, it don't matter. We're gonna do that purple now. my head in the way, sorry. The colors are kind of funky for this one. I'm really having fun with this one. This one's different than the usual ones I do. Let's do a rose. I sort of want to do the rose that color. Ah! No, it got on my table. One sec, let me try to clean that up. Okay, I think all is well. Shout out Dr. Bronner's. Shout out Liv for always giving me the most useful gifts. I'm gonna use that purple again, that purple brush. This is where shit starts to get crazy a little bit. Okay, because from here, okay. All right, but now we're also gonna layer in some pink over this purple a little bit. We're gonna do a little of the same over this pink one here. Just adding some flavor to our painting here. I'm gonna do a little bit more purple in here with like mixed with that pink. Maybe add it a little bit more here. So that you start to get some dimension to your flowers. It doesn't have to be like real strategic dimension, but they're certainly more interesting to look at when there's two colors there than there are when there's just one, you know? It's meant to be fun. And then I'm gonna go back to blue now. Just add another coat there, first and foremost. And then how about another flower? We'll do smaller that time. I just outlined the top first, or like the bulb. Okay, I'll show you. I'm like, I can't describe what I'm gonna do. Okay, so for example, like I want my rose to be like this, and then I want a little bit of like the bulb part of the rose to show. So I'm gonna do just like a little funny shape, right? Like a woo, you know how it goes, right? That'll be my rose, okay? When I do my detailing. And then I'm just gonna make sure that there's some sort of like extra part there. That's gonna be the bulb, and then my stem for my rose will come down there. You know what I mean? When we do details, it'll make sense. So that'll be that. I'm thinking we do something here, but I don't think it's gonna be a flower. It might just be like a cottontail or like baby's breath. I love doing baby's breath. I think there should be two more flowers, like right there. We have to bring a whole new color in. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it has to be This is kind of fun. Let's try that. I sort of like that. Because it won't be the same green as the leaves. And then I can layer with the blues also. Oh my God. I'm loving the color scheme of this one. So cutie. Okay, now I was saying red, right? I guess that would make most sense. Or no, no, we're doing purple. The whole video is just gonna be me saying okay a million times. Sorry. My bad. I didn't know if a video like this would be that interesting because I'm like, I don't know if my creative process is that interesting. But I do enjoy doing art, and I figured it was something that we could do together, so I don't know. Okay, so next we're gonna start layering and shit. I'm not gonna do, I usually don't do like the baby's breath stuff until the end. That's one of my more final steps. Next for me is gonna be layering for the flowers. So here's how we're gonna go about that. I'm gonna start with the lightest color that I wanna work with. So I'll be primarily focusing on like this flower, this flower, this flower, this flower, and that flower. And we're just gonna go in and start adding sort of like random ass lines to, I don't know, throughout. So the lightest color. So as a reminder, these are supposed to be sort of like highlights, right? So I'm just gonna, ooh, we got some purple on there, that's fine. That's fine, it's supposed to be for fun. So I'm just gonna add some like curly cues around my rose, as in like, you know, that's gonna be a rose someday. I'm gonna come through, add some highlights to my purple flower, because it's looking real gray right now with the backdrop of the orange, you know? So we're gonna perk that up a little bit. Just add some context to our flower here. Maybe a little bit in our purple flower, which is then gonna carry to the rest, right? Because that one's still sort of wet. So now we sort of have purple, which is fine. I'll get more pink here in a second. Diffusing that purple a little bit. She came in sort of hot. Now I'm gonna get, I don't know. Ah. And then sometimes when I think I overstep with the layer color, I'll come back through with the other color to like bring back the essence of the base color, you know. Just to bring her back a little bit. Now I look back at it, I'm like, okay, what's next? I'm gonna bring in a little bit of that like more grayish purple, like light purple color. I'm gonna do a little in the rose. I think that'll be good with adding like dynamicness to like the black. Because eventually we're gonna do like a final highlight of like white and black. So a highlight, low light, like that. Those are the last two steps of the painting. And it really brings everything together, usually. So that'll add really, I think, a nice touch to that. So we'll add more to this layer, just to like sort of hide our, make the, because we do want to add dynamicness or whatever to the flowers, but you also don't want it to be super, it can be as harsh or non-harsh as you want. It's up to you, but I think for me, I want some flowers to be really harsh, and I want some of them to be like not so much, you know? So there's options to look at throughout the painting, you know? I ain't gonna lie to you, the YouTube video that I do have on right now, like the music, goes hard as fuck. And then whenever you're done with whatever layer you just did, you always think it's like way too much for that specific color. But just know that like you about to add a whole nother layer, and then that layer is gonna look too much, and it's all gonna blend at some point, you know? It's all just gonna be like cool to look at some point. Okay. I think it looks pretty good so far. Next, we're gonna go in with that real pinky color here. I'm gonna do that. And that one's like a bright color. Like, I know that one sticks out, so I know that I have to be sort of careful with it. So I am gonna include it in my rose. There we go. And you gotta be real careful. It takes practice. Like, and if you're a little too heavy-handed at first, hey, listen. Some of these, like, I've gotten a lot better as I've done the same painting now, like, I don't know, 5 times or whatever. So I have a little bit more of an idea of where and what needs to be, what pressure, you know what I mean? Like what colors need and what colors really stick out on a canvas, that sort of thing. So if this is your first time trying something like this, don't be too hard on yourself and practice. You should do it again. It's real fun to like, and it's stress relieving. Okay. Slay. I think the only other layer I'm gonna do for those specific flowers for now is purple, but I think I'm gonna do purple for both the pinks and the blue greens, and then we're gonna do yellow on its own. Yellow is sort of its own thing, it always is. And I do the yellow last because it's when I start to do like the baby's breath, the highlighting and everything. We will also have to add our polka dots to our vase. I love polka dots personally, so that's always a part of the painting for me. So yeah, that's sort of my thought process moving forward. We're gonna now move into the highlight low light for my greens and blues. So I have my initial brush here that I was doing those flowers with. I think I might need a smaller brush, to be honest. Slay. Now, I'm gonna just do some base layering here. And then, but similarly, we are still gonna go back in and add our dimension with our smaller brush. Reestablish some of those lines. And now I'm gonna re-establish some lines. Even if it's that same paint color, I like having the layer or like the brush stroke on the canvas. I think that's really like it adds to the painting. It adds to, I don't know. I think it looks fun. Now, I think I'm gonna mix some of that, like this green, to some of this blue and we'll see what color we get here. This is where, you know, now you just be mixing colors to like add layers. That's what I do. I like sort of paint until I run out of paint on my, not on the canvas. But I want to mix them all at some point, like. And now, should I do purple for both? I feel like purple is gonna bring it all together. I might do purple with one of like my really tiny brushes. Like something like that. Just so I don't overdo it. Cause purple, this purple specifically is pretty dark. So I don't wanna overdo it, you know? Okay. Y'all just can't see me no more. Deal with it. I have no idea if y'all can see it. We just gonna have to see when the footage drop. What color should I do the polka dots? You know what I'm thinking? I think I'm gonna do them brown. I love pink and brown. And I think it would like bring the orange from the back into this weird color scheme, because like this color scheme is not as diverse as I usually do for these paintings. And so like I just need something that's gonna bring it all together, you know? Okay, that's purple. Now we're gonna start getting into making, so that's what we're gonna do brown next, I think. That's the next color in the sequence. That makes sense. We'll actually do layering for Miss Sunflower here. So we'll get our yellow paintbrush, who decided to be fucking dry already. 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm gonna add some green into this yellow here to add some layering. I'm gonna add like a richer yellow too now, because that's like it's a very like, I don't know, pale yellow. So I'm gonna add like a more brilliant yellow. The conversation as well. There we go. There we go. It's gonna take forever to fucking dry, but that's okay. That is alright. I like that a little bit better now. Let's add some brown to the conversation. So now I have just like, I don't know where Artsmith is from. Is that like a Hobby Lobby brand? Or no, I might have gotten this before whatever recent one went out of business, because they had hella shit for cheap. And I was like, in that bitch. Okay. So now we're gonna add some brown. But because this is so wet right now, I'm not sure if this is the best time to add either, but honestly, I sort of like the way it looks. Cute. So for now, while that dries, let me clean some of my brushes. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna use this one to do my polka dots. So I'm gonna take my brown and I'm just gonna, okay. So once I have like a general idea of where I want my polka dots to be, these are fine. I'm gonna go back over them until I'm happy, which usually requires me to get a smaller brush out and fill them in, sort of. I do like the brown, I'll be honest. Cutie. Now, I'm gonna start to put some or like a branch. So here's the next steps with brown. I'm gonna put a line here and then like have like a backdrop for my like vase, right? Like, cause there has to be like some sort of like 3D element, right? To show that it is a three-dimensional thing that is holding the flowers. And then I'm gonna start to do like a branch so that we can do baby's breath, like dots, okay? So that's the next part. So I'm just gonna do there. And then we'll also have like leaves and shit here. So like, don't worry, don't worry. Now we're gonna do this. And just like feel the branch with your heart. You know what I mean? You want it to look a little fucked up, but not too bad. And then you can make it like more pigmented after. There you go. So then we're gonna do like with like whites and some colors from here, mostly. So, okay. Next, what I'm gonna do with my brown is I'm gonna do my middle for my sunflower. So I'm gonna do my polka dots, or at least start. And I think I need to step away from it for a little bit so it can dry, so we can layer for real again at some point. So I'm gonna do that. Okay. I got overstimulated having the camera on. I added some leaves and then I added some green to the branch. And now I'm just adding, I took a smaller brush And I'm just adding these, the seeds to my sunflower here. I love her. Okay, now from here, I'm pretty happy with my layering color-wise. So once you're happy with your layers color-wise, you have to be completely sure that you are done color-wise. You know, I mean, I don't know. You can go in and do some edits afterwards, like, but I try to be completely done color-wise. Because now I'm gonna go in with white, and I'm gonna go in with black. Black is the very, very last step. So I'm gonna do white first. And you need very little of both colors, because a little goes a long way with your like highlights and your lowlights. So I'm gonna go in with my white. And I'm gonna go in personally with all of my color, or like all of my flowers individually, and add some personal highlighting to each flower individually. Just cause. Dante! We're gonna do that in just a second. Okay, for the vase. For the vase specifically, I always do the same highlights, so pay attention. I do. I always do like a, I don't know, like a, this sort of shape at the bottom here. I always do. Usually there's not a flower in the way, but I usually do like a line across here. I do one like here. And then I do very light to show that there's some sort of like lip here probably. I try to do like that, and then it should come up here just a little bit. Those are the highlights. I'll show you the lowlights for the black here in just a moment, but those are the highlights. Now let's do the baby's breath. So I'm just gonna, like that. And then we'll maybe add like a little bit of brown throughout there. Just to make it a little less harsh. And then maybe just like a little yellow too. Just cause. All right. That's good for baby's breath. Now for the final, now we gotta do our low light. Now we have to do our black, okay? This is the final step of the painting, and then we're done. I know this has been a long video. Thank you for bearing with me. Let's get black into the conversation. Where is it? There's one. Again, you need very little. I'm even gonna have way too much. Okay, so now, I always do, I low light each individual circle. I think that's cute. I don't know why. It adds like a cute, it's almost cheetah print, and especially because this is brown. Usually it's not as cheetah print as it is coming across right now. One sec, let me get this damn dog. So now, I do very specific outlines for this as well. So I would do like, to show the end of the vase, right? That one's harsher than it usually is, but that's okay. And then here, just a little. To reinforce that there's a lip, I always do like a little like that. Like that, right? And then I do like that. There we go. Base done. Okay. So you can set your shit down. Now, ooh, guys, why didn't you remind me to put middles to my flowers? So black can be some of them. That's number one. So we'll do this one. We'll have that one. And then let's have, we need one more. Let's do this one. Okay. And then we'll do this. Oh, let me show you the rows though. Okay. So you're gonna start really small and you're just gonna do like a woo. You know what I mean? And that's your rows. And then, like we said, we'd have a little like bulb. I didn't originate this method. I don't know. I was really inspired by Katie's canvases for a long time, and she just be having. I know that she has like a tumultuous relationship to being an artist, sort of. Like sometimes she doesn't have it in her, where she gets artist block real bad. But the way in which she did art really inspired me. And I think that that's obvious in the way that I do art now. I get these specific canvases from, I don't know, anywhere. I like that they're flat. These are specifically like 5x7 or 7x5. I don't know the right way. But anyway, the reason why I get them is because they're flat, and so usually they can fit in like normal photo frames. And so you can like thrift frames or whatever you want. You can thrift, yeah, or like, I don't know, old canvases with frame. I don't know, whatever you want. So I found some from Marshall's that I really liked, that I'm gonna put this one in. And I don't know. I really enjoy painting. It's something that I found that I really like in the last year. I'm looking at it like, what else does it need? I'm thinking like, yeah, one of them. Yeah. I guess I should show you what the final product looks like is. Wait, let me see if I can flip the camera one sec. Okay, cutie. For real. That's it for real. Thank you for coming along with me on my art journey. I love you so much. Bye.